It still works. I just want to let you know what happened. I put this in a few minutes ago when it transmit. I hope you can still replace it on there, but it still receives, it's still noise. It made a firecracker sound. And I put this in here because it did transmit when it had a transmit. Then I pulled this out for a few minutes and turned it off. It blew over here. Something had a firecracker that direction here. When it smoked a little bit, but the transformer still works. So I think it was actually the capacitors. That's probably where it was at. We'll have to look at it later. It still receives, but I heard that loud pow. But it blew over that direction. We'll have to look at it, guys. So it still receives. But what I did, I plugged one of these back in. With this adapter, is the one that came with my other Robyn radio. And it transmit. Then after that, I turned it off for a few minutes, a few seconds. And I turned it back on. This thing was receiving when I turned it on. And actually, mostly, it smoked right here. It didn't blow the transformer. So it blew a cap down here somewhere. So I'm sure this happened. It was like pow, like wow. But it didn't caught on fire, thank God. So this is on the receive mode, but it blew a cap in this radio a few minutes ago, so I did not know. But I put this in here. This is the cord I had with the one with the Robyn a while back, for my mobile Robyn. So I put this in here, and it transmit. It did actually transmit to blue. Then after that, I turned it off for a few seconds. Then it actually had a receive mode. It heard the sound, and what happened? A few seconds later, it made a pow sound over that direction. Hopefully you guys can replace caps. I don't know if you guys know how to. We'll have to show you the cap that got blown. It's underneath. They said those firecracker ones, but maybe Harvey can learn how to fix one of these. But it still works, but it does not transmit. You can hear the little receive. You just do this. But it was actually a loud pow sound over in this direction right here. It smoked right down here. But the transformer still is good. But it actually pow right there. It came from this direction when it smoked. So we'll look underneath to see what blew. But all the tubes are lit up right. But I'm sorry that happened for $60. But the good thing I didn't put my hand in it, it would have blew. But I didn't do anything wrong. I just put this thing, I connected it to see if it was going to work when I turn on the sound to make it that way. It was this Robyn thing I connected to what I had a while back, and it actually transmitted. That's what it did. So I pulled it off after I turned it off very fast. Then I turned the radio back on. It made that sound either way. It made this sound here when I turned this on. Now I didn't have to hit PA. And after a few minutes later, it made a pow sound right over this direction, guys. So everything looks okay, but the radio's still working. But that's what happened to me 15 minutes ago. But I'm sure you guys had that happening when it had a pow sound. It almost says, "Is it okay?" But it didn't caught on fire. It had smoke right there in that direction. Right here where the smoke came out of here. It made a pow sound and it came out that way. It probably was those firecracker caps. So you could still fix these radios, but I got lucky for $60, but it heated up like that. But so it came with this adapter here, but it probably, you guys can probably use some other ones like that. So the Robyn can still hear. You can still hear it. I'll show you in a second. You press this, then that's where you can hear the receive. But it did make a pow sound. We'll have to see in a minute. I'll go look underneath at what happened. We're going to check the cap, see which one blew. We're going to see what it was. I still hear the thing, but it probably was the transmission cap. And probably that's what it was. It only blows when you have a transmission cap, right? So let's try my walkie-talkie. But I'm sure you guys had happened, but it pow over this direction. So I'm gonna try it in a second. But I got it for $60 least spec, but it pow this direction right here when it came out that way. Where the smoke came out that way, and that was it. But the transformer's still good. But I told you what happened. I plugged this in here before I turned it on. It transmit for a second. Then I had to turn it off very quick. Then I remove it. Then it came with that sound came on right here. It came in with the sound without pressing the PA. Then a few seconds later, it made a pound noise right here in this direction. Right about here where the smoke came out. Not extreme smoke, like a little black smoke, tiny little bit. And it was gone, and I had to turn it off for a few seconds, and I just turned it back on. And that's all. And when you press this PA, when you press this experience speaker, it goes away. Then we press PA, and that's what you hear. I was a bad cap, but I think the tubes are still good. I'll show you guys in a second. Let's check what's going on channel. I think we're on channel 14. So you don't hear me pressing it. Watch. So you don't hear nothing. That's all it is. See? And that was it, guys. I'll show you in a second what happened with blue. So, and this is how we play with the RF gain. That's the buzz sound. Still receives, but we don't hear nothing. So if I was a bad cap, that would happen, guys. But I'll stop this video and I'll show you what's inside of it. Let me show you what happened, guys. I got that tint oil out of here. You guys see it right there? That came on that radio right there. That's where the cap blew. So you guys can see it. But the radio still works, guys. And it's got more of these caps in here. And I tell you what happened. I plugged this microphone in. I didn't have it hook up or nothing. And mostly I thought it was on like the Robyn connector. Because this was actually from that. This was connected to this radio here. I'll show you. It was connected to this radio right here. So it's one of those microphones, look like a Turner I had a while back and took it off. Mostly I just wanted to plug it in to make to see the sound come out of the radio. You know, like you had to plug microphones to make it work to hear the sound, but you guys saw the video. So this is a 047 microfarad. I don't know any microfarad you can place, but we'll have to find one of these caps real soon for Robyn. It's actually called Atlas, I think. But what kind of caps you could use on that? But I wish somebody could look at this radio to help me out. But it could have been a lot worse, but the transformer is still good. And all the parts are still good. And you can see this one's about to go, I don't know. But it's not my fault, it's just I just want to be cool on the tube system. You know how tube radios are awesome and you're going to have fun. I got this because I wanted to go on OTR and have fun with it, and also talked on tube radio night in my local area. At least you got the fuse in here, that's cool. But I got it for $60, so it's like, it smelled quite a bit, but it's alright. Nothing caught on fire. So yeah, look at that. These are all those caps in here. I'm going to show you there. Maybe Harvey could take a look at this on video, but we got a Robyn 123 Bravo, which is a 40 channel mod system. But sorry about that, guys, but she's alright. I don't think I should I turn on the radio, let it warm up for a while, or it'll blow another cap. It only happened when I plugged that thing and it transmit, and for a few seconds. Then when I turn it off and I heard the microphone receiving mode on it, and then noticeably it made it blue. It actually, after a few seconds later, the cap just blew. This cap blew, and pow, it made a lot of noise. Then I turned it off for a second. It was smoking, this cap was. Then after that point, I turned it back on. I used that PA switch thing, and everything was okay. But look at these switches here. So I'm gonna get on out of here for the rest of the night. I'll catch you guys later. Maybe we can learn how to get these things, make this radio work and transmit and receive. And when I tried out my walkie-talkie, you can't hear it on my other end, and that's the only thing to receive you hear, just like the Comsat 35 here. Same thing in a different way, but at least this radio is in good shape. But at least I saved this radio from this guy, because somebody could have used this for parting it out, but I think it has possibility that this thing will work and someone could do it the right way. I think it's possible we can get on all 40 channels with this system, but it's only AM, but it's a nice looking radio. So you guys can see all that stuff and looking around. But I need to go lay down for a while. I'm just overtired over here. I was just going to see. I wanted to get on the dang radio, see if it's going to work and do everything like that. That's why I've been waiting to get on one of these Robyns for a while. But I think it's possible this radio can be transmitted on the air again. I think it's possible it could do. I think it's possible it could be working again pretty good. I think it'll be able to do all the 40 channels and the crystals. All the crystals are not hit, and that's a relay switch down there. And we're pretty good. I checked all the tubes, they're all working, you guys saw that. And maybe they need more placement on tubes, but the caps are probably the most important things you guys have to look at. But it's got a nice fuse. The fuse is in good shape. But maybe Harvey can fix this or somebody can help me out. Maybe they don't have to recap all these things. Maybe it needs all the caps, but it was only a small cap, so lucky it was not the big guys. Those things probably would have freaked me out. Those giant ones. And the guys were telling me those firecracker caps are the ones you gotta worry about. It only blew a little tiny small one. It sounded like an M80 that going off. These things probably will blow up very loud. But have you guys ever replaced all caps like this? And there's your 4 pins right there. White wire, orange. But my mom didn't like that sound, but she told me, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I was alright. It didn't caught on fire. It had a black smoke came out a little bit, and that was it, the magic dust thing. But these caps are still good. So it's good, guys. I just experienced a cap explosion. So you guys have a good night. And we'll talk more about the Robyn. But yeah, this is like a party gift that comes out. Who knows? This is weird. I never knew they put tinfoil in this. I thought they explode oil. But you can actually unravel it and see what's inside this thing. And that's all you see. A piece of tint oil. They made tint oil back then those days. And it looks like a cigarette light cap. There it is. That's the oil. Don't want to get in that. That's a shot like a little firecracker gift. But that's gonna, and I got that plastic out of here, so it was like a plastic wrap that was on top of this here. So I removed that out of the way. So I don't want to have anything to catch on fire. So that's why I had to look underneath it, because sometimes when you catch them blow like that, just make sure you remove the wrappers so you won't have any fires inside your radio. So the radio's okay, it just blew a cap. So I got to experience something really crazy today. But yeah. So we'll show you a little bit more of this radio, but she's still working. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. UDX 362 over Knoxville, Tennessee. The Robyn 123B. The 40 channel mod. And let me show you the 40 channel mod where it connects. Yeah, there's something called, there it is, it's the chip. I see it right down there. Something C404. That looks like it's a Betacom mod. It could be, but I'm looking at it right now. It's a small size of it. It could be a Betacom mod. I'm looking at right between those things you can see. Let me see if we can get a glimpse of it. To zoom in. Right there. You guys see that little 40 channel mod chip there? That green one in the back with the thing. You guys can see a word 404 on it. There it is. That's what it's called, 404, or it could be 104. And I know it's, yeah, C404. And it's supposed to be the S42 or 41. S42 is the one with the mod chip that works with these things. Yeah. Or it could be an SM, could be an SW842. There's two models of it, I know. For the Betacom switch. So it looks like there's a 14 or a 41 right there. So that's the mod down there, you guys see it. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good night. Maybe we'll get that cap replaced soon. I don't know where you get these parts at. But yeah. It smelled very kind of crazy with that smell, but they have those caps in there, but it only blew a small one, but it didn't blew the big ones yet. So I got this thing on flea bait today. It came in the mail. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night. Catch you later. UDX 362, East Tennessee.